Hello everybody, welcome back to another Beyond the Boundaries episode. Now today, it's July the 4th, a pretty important day in the calendar, globally speaking. Of course, in America, it's Independence Day. But here in the United Kingdom, July the 4th this year has a different significance. All day, people will be heading to one of these things to vote in the general election. So how does a general election work? Well, it's not actually as complicated as you might think. The entire UK is divided into 650 areas called constituencies. Each and every one of these is represented by a Member of Parliament, and that person looks after their constituents, the people who live within the constituency boundaries. In a general election, people vote for who they want as their MP to represent their constituency in the House of Commons. Now to do that, they have to head to a polling station. Now normally a polling station here in the United Kingdom is a building that's got a different everyday use. This is my local one, and as you can see, it's a school. Once you're there, you'll be presented with a ballot paper which lists the people you can vote for to become your MP. These are known as the candidates, and usually they represent a political party. The biggest parties we've had in the UK for several years now are the Conservatives, Labour and the Liberal Democrats, but from time to time others spring up, such as the Green Party and UKIP. There was even once one called the Monster Raving Loony Party. A brand new one for this election is Reform. Parties quite often don't put forward a candidate in every constituency. There are many reasons for that. In Scotland, the Scottish National Party are often found on the ballot paper. In Wales, you can usually vote for Plaid Cymru. These wouldn't make a lot of sense in England, of course. Sometimes a party will opt to not put forward a candidate if they don't feel they'll win. As well as members of a political party, independent candidates can stand too. And then the votes are counted at the end when the polls close. It's that simple, in theory, but there can be a couple of complications. Ballot papers which have more than one X or have been marked with ticks or some other fancy or outlandish drawings are rejected. These are known as spoiled ballots and aren't counted towards the final total. It's also possible, but quite rare, for ballots to become lost in transit when moved from the polling stations to the place where they'll be counted. Sometimes the vote is close, which means there has to be a recount. Throughout the night, the results begin to come in, and each constituency declares a winner, the person who will become its MP. By being elected, the MPs are said to win their constituency seat. So how does all this lead to a new government and determine who the next Prime Minister will be? Again, it's quite straightforward. A political party must win a majority to form a government. The party then choose one of their number to be their leader in the House of Commons, and that person becomes Prime Minister. Currently, that's the Conservative MP Rishi Sunak. He's standing again in this election for the constituency of Richmond and Northallerton in North Yorkshire. Because the Prime Minister is an MP and elected in the same way as all the others, it is possible for them to lose their seat in an election. The minority become collectively known as the opposition. In the House of Commons, they're usually led by a member of the party which has the second largest number of elected MPs. Because there are more than two parties, it is possible for no party to obtain a majority. If this happens, it's known as a hung parliament. A government can still be formed, but it requires two or more parties to join forces to become a coalition. All that remains after that is for the reigning monarch to invite the Prime Minister to form the new government. And that's essentially how a UK general election works. In the run-up to an election, it's not uncommon for commentators and comedians to make plenty of jokes about the parties, the MPs, and the policies that are on offer. And you see, the problem is with political jokes, they end up getting elected.